Warning! The following episode contains scenes that some viewers might find disturbing and or may not be suitable for younger audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome back to the channel, guys.
Yes, today we are bringing you to the country that is the farthest as possible as Canada.
New Zealand. So after Iceland last week, it's New Zealand this time. For some reason, we like islands, don't we?
We love islands.
We love islands.
And for some reason as well, New Zealand has a lot in common with Canada. We both don't know why the Queen is on our money. We both have weird accents. We always say sorry when it's not the time.
The guys are really hot in New Zealand as well.
That's not what I had in mind, but okay. The guys are hot in New Zealand and they all feature in The Lord of the Rings.
That is very true.
Okay. So let's explore that very mystical piece of land that we called New Zealand.
New Zealand.
New Zealand.
New Zealand.
It's a L-A-N-D, New Zealand. Okay.
Hi, we're Dom and Marie.
Since 2016, we traveled the world by van looking for the perfect road trip, until we decided to buy and convert our own little home on wheels that we named Vanessa.
Every Sunday, we share parts of our van life experience with as much details as possible.
Tips, tricks, and stories that we hope will inspire you to start your own travel project.
But for now, buckle up, subscribe, and enjoy the ride for this new episode of Vanlife Sagas. So after a 36-hour flight, we finally arrived to Christchurch.
It's a long way to Christchurch. And they lost our luggage. So we get to this beautiful place called the JUCY Lounge. No.
JUCY Snooze.
The JUCY Snooze. And JUCY is the company we rented from.
Yeah, the van.
And they are very well organized. Just imagine how organized a rental company can be, times 10.
Yeah.
Like you get there, it's like a big facility full of solo rooms, double rooms, you have
dorms as well.
And they have a huge kitchen area where you can cook with tons of people.
Yeah, it's nice. They have this big common space.
We ate like breakfast over there every morning, and I was like, hey, we can stay here for a week.
Yeah, it's really nice.
And
they have little pods. You can sleep in little pods. They're really cool.
J'ai lavé mes bobettes avec du savon à main. Puis là, je sèche mes bobettes avec un séchoir à cheveux. Fallait enlever les traces de break dedans. Avec des bobettes avec des bananes dessus. J'ai une paire de bobettes pour les 3 prochains jours.
And we took the first couple of days just wander around Christchurch.
Yeah, and we took the gondola so we could go explore on the other side of the rim, and it was just fantastic.
I actually wanted to hike, but you were like...
Okay. We're taking the gondola. Because I knew we were about to hike many mountains during that trip, so I was trying to spare my legs.
And that's exactly what we did. So the next day, after the 5th day, we took the van, an
Yeah.
awesome van. That van was epic. So after the yellow van in Iceland, we now had a big purple van like Barney.
The green van. The typing is purple, so it's a purple and green van. And when you get to the JUCY facility where you rent, they're all there waiting for you. There's many counters, and they just drop the keys, they go around the truck, and it was a Toyota Hiace.
Yeah, these guys are massive.
The cars are very well made, and I had fun driving on the left side of the road.
First time driving on the left side, and when you're not used to driving on the opposite side,
It can be catastrophic.
you always you want to do the flasher, and then you do the windshield washer, and then
Yeah,
you want to.
I was confused.
Yeah.
Payroll deductions for a 1K, matching contributions that they never gonna pay, helping out the needy, helping out the poor. They're working for nothing at that patriotic store, but I'll be free as a...
All right, so after picking up the van, I have my notes here so I don't forget anything. After picking up the van, we headed towards Mount Cook. And Mount Cook is a very epic looking mountain.
Yeah.
And when we were driving towards Mount Cook, we could see it on the horizon. It was like, holy crap, okay. But it was there looking at us and waiting for us. So we took our sweet little time. We saw that lake named Takapoo Lake.
Takapoo, not Takapoo.
Takapoo Lake?
No, I think it's Takapoo.
I think it's Takapoo Lake. Anyways, And we drive towards this huge mountain, and now at one point, and this happens a lot in New Zealand, the weather changes.
Pouring rain. Similar like Stocksness.
Exactly what happened in Iceland.
Stops for sure. They went down the road to see.
It was pouring rain. There were thunderstorms. We were on the top of the mountain.
Slippery.
We were on metal
Lightning,
bridges.
like lightning very close to us as well.
Oh yeah, it was like destroying everything around us. And I was like, okay. And at one point during the night, we were just sleeping, and the van was going like this.
Yeah, it was windy.
So anyways, that was Mount Cook. We strongly suggest you take your time and you wait for the clouds to disappear.
Yeah,
because it's a very nice place to watch.
And then on Valentine's Day, Dom surprised me. This was probably one of the best gifts ever on Valentine's Day. Dom took me paddleboarding. We went paddleboarding on...
We are big paddleboarders.
Yeah, we do. And we are. And so Dom took me paddleboarding on Clutha River, which is the longest and deepest in New Zealand.
Yeah.
And we had the river
It's a glacier river.
ourself. The water is freezing cold because it melts from the glacier in the back. And it's just so freaking pretty. So we spent the day on paddleboards on this little river with our 7mm wetsuits.
Oh yeah.
I'll be free as a bird. Walmart parking lot. I'll be free as a bird. No Walmart parking lot.
So after Valentine's Day spent on the water, we headed
Wanaka.
to Milford Sound.
Yes.
You have seen this everywhere.
Milford Sound is probably in the top 10 epic places in the world. It's freaking mind-blowing. The road to get there,
It's just beautiful.
I felt like I was in a video game. You know, you go through that tunnel and you're like, okay. And then you end up on the other side of the mountain and the weather just changed completely. It's
Parrots.
like parrots, wet weather,
What?
wet weather, humid weather, rivers, mountains, waterfalls. I felt like I was in Peter Pan. Jumanji mixed with Peter Pan. It was just, it was out of this world. I was like, how is that even possible? And we went on this cruise, the JUCY cruise.
Yeah.
So yes, they do have dorms, they have campervans, and they have boats now. So they tour the fjord, they show you all the waterfalls, and at one point the lady said, look at this mountain. It's one of the steepest and longest drop of New Zealand, and I think it was 700 meters.
Really?
Yes, it was super crazy.
I don't remember that.
It's out of proportion.
Yeah, it's
Milford
beautiful.
Sound is probably my favorite place in the South Island of New Zealand.
So when leaving Milford Sound, we stopped in Queestown. And we heard about this place where they sell the biggest
Hamburgers.
in the country. The burgers, they were seriously like this big. I had to like cut them in half and then cut them this side as well because I couldn't put them in my mouth.
There's 4 burgers in every burger.
Massive.
$40 a burger, but for Americans, that's like, you know, $12.
$2.
There was a lineup outside, a very long lineup, and I was like, okay, this has to be epic in some ways because there's way too many people. So if you stop in Queenstown, you need to go check that burger place. We're gonna put the title on the screen.
Yeah.
Ouais, y a pas de toilette.
Ça te tentait pas de pisser ailleurs que devant la porte?
Dom, y a du monde là, 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 y a du monde là. J'avais pas le choix.
Non, mais là, c'est que pour rembarquer puis débarquer du char, faut qu'on mette notre pied dans la piste.
Ben, tu mets tes sandales.
Oh, bébé!
Mais j'avais pas le choix.
Pourquoi t'as pissé en avant de la porte?
J'avais envie de pipi.
After Queenstown, we drove all the way up north on the west shore of the South Island, and we stopped to see more mountains because we didn't have enough mountains in the trip so far. And we saw Franz Glacier. We strongly suggest you do that.
Which was a glacier.
We've been dancing all around the red dirt.
We
had a long road to drive up to the North Island because we
Yes.
had to bring the van back to Auckland. This is a secret you can do with rental company. When they need vans to be transported to other locations,
You have discounts.
big discounts. So we drove all the way up on the west shore of the South Island, and it was beautiful. It was paradise on wheels. Like all the highways were surrounded by water. You had long bridges over beaches. You know, beautiful landscapes. You felt like you were somewhere in the South. Well, you're somewhere in the South. So we were taking the ferry from the South Island to the North Island, and when you do that, you end up in Wellington.
Danny will be there with Peggy's. Beverlina, Neverlina, they will be there too. Yes, we will be jumping and doing the bop. Coming over, baby.
One of the main attractions on the North Island would be
Raglan.
the Mordor.
Oh, yes.
The Mordor.
The real Mordor.
The actual Mordor is on the North Island of New Zealand.
Where they filmed the movie.
The Lord of the Ring was filmed in the Tongariro National Park.
20-kilometer hike.
An epic volcano. So I was super motivated for the first 20 minutes. I was like, let's go see the Mordor. At one point I was like, well, that's fairly easy, okay. But after 20 minutes, and I could hear Gandalf saying, you shall not pass because you're out of shape.
I love it when your own jokes make you laugh.
If you're a good hiker, and if you like hikes, we strongly suggest you hit Tongariro National Park to see Mount Doom. It's an epic hike. It's dry, it's sand, it's rocky, it's rocks. Volcanoes everywhere.
Non, pour vrai, c'est... Oh.
Pour vrai, c'est vraiment beau.
Pour vrai, c'est vraiment beau.
When she switches to French automatically, it's because it's very emotional.
No, honestly, it's beautiful. That was a very, very long hike, but beautiful day.
Yeah, I was completely dead.
So if you want to go to the North Island, you have to take a ferry. I believe it's a 3 or 5 hour ferry. And on that ferry, we met 2 Kiwis, 2 people from New Zealand.
Yeah.
And one of them, Jarrett, invited us over.
For a very nice activity.
I killed a wild boar with my bare hands and just a knife.
The reason why Jared does this is because he helps his neighbors and the farmers he knows to get rid of the wild boars around because they are a real pest. For example, they kill sheep, they eat all the vegetables, all the crops. They can be a pain in the ass, basically. So the way Jared does it is very simple. He does it the traditional way. He has dogs that are tracked with a GPS tracker, and when the dogs find the boars, they just wait for Jared to come while barking and tiring the animal.
Yeah.
Wherever they run on this, like, we'll be able to follow exactly where they have ran.
Oh, okay.
I was freaking out, like just like walking
in the forest.
Walking in the forest, you know you're gonna be tracking a boar. You don't know if you're gonna find one. You hope you're gonna find one. And then when you hear the dogs barking,
you're like, oh my god.
It gets to you now.
Just running in the forest after Jared was a hell of a sport.
Oh yeah, you have to run fast.
Qu'est-ce qui se passe? On a quoi?
And then he gave me the knife and he held my hand because I didn't know where to do it and how to do it because the skin, I mean, there's a resistance. You really have to go hard. Mm-hmm. And the minute I did it, you hear the animal scream. And I felt horrible. I mean, I understand the tradition, I understand the culture, I understand the way that it's done, and it's in respect to the animal, but it's just like, I killed an animal with my own hands. That's
Yes, and because they do it that way, because Jared does it that way, he's able to use all the parts of the animal.
That is very true.
So after the guts are out for the wild animals to eat, he can use the fur, he can use the meat. So it's
blood.
not that bad. I think it's not worse than just eating meat from a superstore where you don't know
it's actually way,
where the
it's
animal's
nicer.
from.
It's freaking organic.
Yeah, so that's the traditional way of hunting animals. We had the chance to witness that with our friend Jared.
That was epic. Thank you, Jarrett. You're probably not going to see this, but if you do,
We love you.
that was awesome.
We'll start running. She'll just wait with the pig until we get there and finish the job. You put
The
it in
next day,
We went surfing USA, or more like almost drowning USA.
oh, it was almost drowning USA. There were good waves, good steady waves in Raglan. So instead of surfing, well, actually we tried for
30 minutes.
30 minutes.
I got one really good one. Do you have a shot of that? Doing
I have
that
a
good wave?
I have a flimsy shot of that. I was not ready for filming. Oh. And instead, we just decided to wait until the rain was over. We parked the van on top of a cliff, and we had another Valentine's Day supper. Yeah. I brought the wine, you cooked spaghetti, and we were looking at those people surfing, saying,
If it's meshing chocolate, it's not Valentine's Day.
Anyways, so yeah, Raglan, if you like surfing or spending time in the water,
A beautiful beach.
we strongly suggest you go to Raglan.
So New Zealand, 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
very,
it's a
very
10.
beautiful country.
Yes, juicy wheels, juicy cruise, and juicy snooze.
I think it's juicy campers, babe.
all the services we got from Juicy were epic. If you need help,
If you need help,
if you need help traveling across the country, you should surely give them a call because they have all the services for you ready to go.
if you want the itinerary, we have our 3-week itinerary. I have it on my computer, so if you want it, just let us know in the comments below and I'll be able to send you that.
Yes, and
And
next
next week?
Western United States.
You're
of
gonna
America.
see me shoot some gun.
Again, there's guns in every episode. I don't like that.
No, anyways. So we'll see you next week. And check this out. Got the stripes here.
We're not saying more.
We're not saying more.
This
Wait
is a
for
mystery.
it.
You have to solve the case. What's happening with my
If
shirt?
someone solves the case, we might be able to send you a link or something. See you next week, guys. Bye. You should walk with your shirt. Just see how fast you walk.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Go! And then take off the shirt.
If I take off the shirt,
Okay, go.
see, there's a big difference still.
Il était pire.
That was 20 horsepower in my legs
Il était
left.
pire, guys.
Yep.
Help. Come get him. Help.
French lesson number 11. Vous ne passerez pas. You shall not pass. Vous is the polite way to say you in French. Passerai is the future tense for the verb to pass. Ne pas are the words we use around verbs to make sure they're in the negative form. What's funny with that sentence in English is that they used the word shall, which means an expression of an instruction or command, or an expression of a strong assertion or intention. In French, we would have used devoir in the sentence vous ne devez pas passer. However, for some reason, this sounded too French, as if Gandalf was threatening a dragon with a baguette. That would have been silly. Instead, they just used vous ne passerez pas. You shall not pass.